Pleasant good morning, one and all. Pleasant good morning. Pleasant good Wednesday morning, one and all. Welcome to today's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, the 20th day of November in the year 2024. Welcome. I hope you had a wonderful night. I hope you're looking forward to a productive day, a productive remainder of the week and the year and your life. So welcome to this Wednesday's episode, the midweek episode. What a wonderful day today, Wednesday is. And I encourage you as we start to share, we have a packed schoolyard. And I have a strong suspicion that the classroom will be similarly packed when we get going. This program was scheduled at exactly 7 o'clock this morning. And, by the time, let me explain to you. You schedule the program, you put it to come at 11 o'clock. And then I have to enter the studio, put in the name, enter the studio. By the time I enter the studio, by the time I schedule the program, I enter the studio, you have dozens of people already in there waiting. Dozens of students already in that short space of time by the time I schedule and I enter the studio. It took about 30 seconds or so, or even less. And the students were already in the schoolyard waiting. And I compliment you for your punctuality. I compliment you for your regular turnout. So yes, here we are. Today, Wednesday, the 20th of November, 2022. My colleague, Mrs. Conway, in the studio, CC already here, waiting to bring you the credible and valuable information. Today, Wednesday, I said, another beautiful day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It's a privilege to have been allowed to see this new day. It's a privilege to be able to sit or lie or whatever you're doing and to listen to this credible, valuable information. We will make sure, as we have said, we are committed to making sure that we come here and we bring you the credible, valuable information. All we ask of you is to share the live, let people know that we're on. We ask of you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Once you subscribe, then you hit the notification bell and you will get notifications when the program or anything is posted on the Speaking Out site. Also, if you're a Facebooker, just follow the page. And you are going to get the notification whenever anything is posted. Again, I want to thank you for the support. Thank you for all those who have made some monetary contribution on the Zelle and the Cash App. The number is scrolling at the bottom there. Again, thank you very much for your generous donation. And we encourage others to do likewise. You want to see us, it takes some effort for us to do the research. A lot of printing has to be done. It's not, as you would have guessed by now, it is not us just coming here and talking. We do the research. We make sure we have equipment, lights and cameras and all of these things so that you can get a proper program. And so do your bit and we will do ours. When you come into, give us a thumbs up. Somebody said to me, some people are not too familiar with how it is done. Well, it's on the screen. You will see the thumbs up sign. Just hit the thumbs up as often as you like, whatever emoji you want to hit it, so that we can see that you're appreciative of what we are doing. We're going to do the research. We're going to come. We're going to bring you the program. And all you have to do, as I said, come into the schoolyard, come into the school, sit back, listen, take out your notebook, take notes, and we are going to bring you the information. Yesterday, when I announced the program, I told you we're going to look at the carnage on the road. Well, not yesterday, last night, really, I announced it because there was some breaking news last night, and we're going to talk about it. And the breaking news is Brutus, at it again, Assistant Commissioner and Attorney at Law Calvin Brutus has filed lawsuit again yesterday. Yesterday, the 19th of November, he filed more lawsuits. So we're going to break it down for you. We are going to break it down for you. But in keeping with the usual format, what we're going to do, we're going to run the roll call. I'm going to run it as quickly as possible. Then we're going to make some announcements. And then we're going to go into the meat of the thing. So, yeah, sit back. In the meanwhile, share the live. Let them know that we are on. And today, as I said, 7 o'clock, on the dot. First morning this morning. Jakey, congratulations. And he was there for us along with Bert, Connor Rookman, Wayne from the UK, Kenneth from Maryland, Marcia. They all came in at 7 o'clock sharp. They were followed by Patricia, Sean, Wayne, Aileen, Tessa, Winston, Leon, Puran from Essequibo Coast, Barbara, Magnell, Trotty is here with us, Lennox, there's me from Georgia, Carlton, my squad mate, Machu, Sherwin, Pauline, Felicia, Clifton from Paris is here with us, Brian from Brooklyn, Aubrey from Canada, Courtney from New Jersey, and then we have Evelyn, Sandra Baird, Joan, Charlene, welcome, Jean, Brennan from Brooklyn is here, Mandela, Michael, this is Michael Sturge, George, the man from Linden, 11294 is here with us. Barlett, another Linden man, is Barlett from the Hills in Linden. Aubrey is here, Kurt, Vibort, this is Vibort John, Isabella, Linda, Malcolm, Pomelo from West Dem. Grace is here with us. Grace is gracing us with her presence. Ezzy, Michael, Clarence, Patricia, Sheena, Anthony, the man from Peters Hall on the East Bank, 11032 Bradshaw. Vibord 9066 Lawson is here. Francis Keith, Audrey, don't celebrate too much, my dear. Don't celebrate. Richard, Melissa, Janet is here. Then we have Nicola, Carlisle, Rayburn, Princess 6123, Princess Earl from Lamar Springs. Then it is Anthony Jarvis, Queenie from Brooklyn, Monica, Mark, Lynette from the UK is here, George from East Coast, BV, Cecile, Jacko from Georgia, and every place else from time to time. Clive from UK, Bonita, Lucius from Maryland, Baltimore is, Emerson, Sean is here, Marva, Carl from Arizona, my squad mate, 9414 Artman, Salima, then it is Vibert, this is Nick Vibert, 7464 Smith, and then we have Colin Stanford from Queens, Diane, Brenda, Kevin is here, Orin from the UK, Earl, Lorraine, Diane, Patricia, Oral, and then it was after that is TK from California. Keith reminds me that today is his birthday. I did not forget. I have it listed to mention. Keith, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Keith. Today is his birthday. Morton is here. Ronald, Dorette, Mary, Connolly, Siobhan, Richard, Theodore, O'Neill, David, Amanda, Russ Ricardo is here with us. Sandra, Rastaman, Maureen, Everett from Texas, Rhonda from Denhamstel in the house, you would see. Onika, Marcus, Danny is here with us. Marla, then it is Umi. Umi is here, and Umi would always remind our fellow students to give us the thumbs up and to show your appreciation. Henrik and Peter, BV Man Ezekiah, this is my country man, BV Man Ezekiah. Vibort from the East Bank is here. Dexter, Forgus, the one and only Rohan Jawar is here with us. Clay. Then it is Terrence Young from Canada, 9795. Bray, Benjamin, Moses, Michael, Steve, Annette. Then it was Sherwin, Maxwell, 11704. Maxwell Beaton is in the house. Grantley, Marcus, Linden, Desiree the secretary, Denise the secretary is here. Pepper Goat, the Pepper Goat is with us. George, Barbara, Heather, Akko, Tilula. Then it was Simo, I've lost Simpson. Then Trevor, Lyndon, Rhonda Chance, Karen, Ovid, Ulrich, 8385 Ulrich, yeah, I think that was it. Raul, Janet, Gordon, Sharon from the UK. Cello came in early today. He came in at 9:58K. Then it was Lorraine, you and Audrey, you're laughing too much. You're smiling too much. Come on, show some sympathy. Stop all this giggling and smiling and laughing. You got to show some sympathy to your former colleague. Marlon, Carol, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada is here. Norbert, Junior, Wendy, Junior, Edgar. Edgar say, Edgar, Edgar say I would be a good Minister of Home Affairs. Is it the same Edgar? 6'5", what is it, 40 or something like that? One if it's the same Edgar. Let me know if it's the same Edgar here. Then we have Paul, Marvin, Lyndon, Vernon, Clay, Selwyn, David, Janella, my country girl, Crawford R, Samoa rather, Mark, Jam, I can't recall seeing Jam Marian before. He says he's waiting. Nigel is here. Then it is Mark, David, Denise, Cheryl, welcome. Brown sugar, always better than white sugar. Ridley, the angel is here. Then it is John. We got Catcher Boy. Melville is here. Corinne, Farina, Verlin, Simone, El Ben. Then it is Roxanne, Lennox, Carl, Fort Valley, Gordon. Then after Gordon is Phil, Tessa, Paulette. Then it was Gwyneth. And then that was Gwyneth was the last person on the schoolyard. And then when we open, once again he's here for us. Edward Charles, number one. And then he's followed by a lot of other people, Cecile, Theodore, and the Esla, and they came in, Bommy, Lynette from Barbados, and they're all here. So yeah. So let me now go to the announcements that I have to make. We're going to talk about it briefly. This sad incident yesterday. Well, it's an accident, but police might classify it as an incident where those two trucks killed that man at in Dennis Street, Sheriff Street, that accident with two trucks. We're going to talk about it this morning. But condolences to the relatives, friends of that gentleman there. What was his name? The Carlton Smart. Story is that he was out to go to some place, two trucks speeding at 6-something in the morning yesterday, speeding, killed him. I saw the gruesome picture there with him lying under the back wheel of one of the truck. Terrible. We're going to talk about the carnage on the roads a little later in the program. And then we have the birthday greetings today. Today, birthday greetings is the retired senior superintendent, I think it was, Lyndon Lord. Oh, Lord, I would call him. He's celebrating in Natal Day today. As I said before, Keith Allen. Keith is celebrating a birthday. Keith is in Barbados. He's a relative of mine in Barbados. He's celebrating today. And today, a friend of mine, Trevor Llewellyn Ben, is celebrating a birthday. Trevor and I go a long way back. We were classmates at UG together, and we have maintained the relationship all the years. So Trevor is celebrating today. Keith is celebrating today. Keith is known to us. He has a family name. I'm going to call it here, but he's known to us he has a familiar name. And Lyndon Lord is celebrating today. And then we have some recent birthdays. Retired woman, Deputy Commissioner Maxine Graham, celebrated, I think it was yesterday. ASP Dylan Fraser, attorney at law, Dylan Fraser, he too celebrated a birthday yesterday. So I want to again, all those who celebrated today, all who celebrated yesterday, and all who celebrated recently, to wish you Godspeed, all the best, and hope that you live to see many, many more LT prosperous birthdays. And what next do I have to announce before I begin, Mr. Connery? Well, we know cricket in the air. For those of you following closely like I do, tonight, I think it's 9:30 Australia and India in Australia at Perth. I want to see that. Australia and India tearing off at Perth at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight. That should be 10:30 Guyana time. That should be a hell of a match. And, I alluded to the fact that Monday was the anniversary of Jonestown, that Jonestown massacre. I think something like 918 persons were killed, some by suicide, some were murdered. Jonestown and the Region 1. At that time, I was a young sergeant. I think that was 1978. Young sergeant. The Saturday, I was on leave. I was on vacation leave. And I went to Strand. And then you got to walk. PB used to call them PA2. You're 2 feet to walk. And I went to Strand. And when I got home, I used to live in Ben Street then. And when I got home, I got word that the police were there for me. So I said, "That's something wrong." For police come, knowing that I'm leave and TSU to send for me, I got to go and see what happened. So in them days, you ain't get telephone. So I walked from Ben Street to Ivlery, and then I was told there was an incident in Lamar Park. Because we didn't know about Jonestown yet, Lamar Park, but people had gone, people had been dispatched to it, including a regular in this program, Reggie, had been dispatched to it. So I went back home. Now the next morning, Sunday morning, Neville Denny, my very good friend, the late Neville Denny, picked me up for us to go and shoot as we would normally do on Sundays. Then we drove through Timeri. We used to drive through Timeri, then we used to go through the highway to get to the ranges. And when we passed the airport, there was this U.S. military aircraft there. Well, Neville is a man knew these things. So he said, what a C-130 U.S. cargo transport Air Force plane is there. So we didn't take it for anything. And then later we learned about this massacre at Jonestown. And I resumed duty the Monday. And I think it was a Wednesday morning. I was then detailed to escort two men. Two of the people from Jonestown, the People's Temple, they were in town. Because, they had this place in town, in Lamar Spring. They were in town. And I had to escort them to identify the dead bodies. So I got them. We went to Timeri. At some stage, a plane was available, a small plane. I think it was an islander. We flew to Port Kaituma. We got there late. And when we got there, I remember Skip Roberts or Rick Landon, Vaughan and Gentle, all those persons were there. I bunked with them in some school or something like that. And then the next morning, they said the bodies were beyond identification, so I had to take the guys back to town. I took them back to Georgetown, and then over, I think it was Breakdown, I took them. And that was around the Wednesday or so. And by the end of the week, I was back into Jonestown under the command of Inspector Nyland Welch. Inspector Welch, we had to take a party in there to secure that place. I remember Nyland Welch, myself, the sergeant, 8344 Washington, 9500 Clark, 8487 Basil, 9828 Mongo Slade, Haynes was his correct name, 0635 Higgins. I can't remember the others, but I remember those people. We all went to Jonestown to gather that place. And the bodies were still there when we arrived there. All the bodies were there because it was whilst we were there, the U.S. military came with body bags and chopper, put the bodies into the chopper and then flew them to Matthews Ridge, then on to Timeri, on to Dover Air Force Base. Yeah, so that I had that experience. It was a terrible experience, I can tell you. The stench, the smell when that wind circled and that thing came there. Oh man. I have so much to tell about that experience we had there. A lot of humorous episodes as well. So yeah, Monday was the anniversary and I haven't seen anything in the media or anything like that. We remained there until just before Christmas. I think about a week or so before Christmas, and then we were flown out of the area. And that's an experience I thought I'd remind you people of. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we are going to move on. CC, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful day. I'm looking forward to a productive and proper.
Yes.
Yes.
And always good to give thanks and praises to the Lord for being in the land of the living. I remember Jonestown well too, I was a corporal at Mabaruma, and Port Kaichum, which is Jonestown area, came on, was within the subdivision. And I recall, we used to do security reports, weekly security reports. I don't know if they're doing it anytime. Because one time I was a clerk to the office and I had to type with one finger, reports. And we used to get reports about White Night, where they're rehearsing the same kind of thing, where they all drank Kool-Aid, and things. And we used to hear a lot of issues about Jonestown, and we used to submit report, but, maybe persons in authority didn't take it. Because Jonestown and anybody couldn't go in Jonestown. Even the police and all couldn't have gone into to Jonestown. Jonestown was a place that even I remember Police Inspector Benjamin went there and they turned him back, They had total, Jim Jones had total control, total command and control of the residents in that little community. So I remember it. I remember when the incident happened. And I remember also shortly after, they had so much U.S. money circulated in Port Kaichumo that Port Kaichumo had more U.S. than the Guyana dollars, and a lot of people get rich, and a lot of people get troubled also too with the Jonestown money. So I remember Jonestown very, very well.
Yeah, and shouldn't correcting me. I said Lamar Springs, where the People's Temple at houses. Correct me, say that Lamar Springs, Lamar Gardens, Lamar Gardens. You see, me as a countryman, Porsche, some of these things. I know it's something to do with Lamar. I know where the building was and all of that. So perhaps still is. I don't know. Yeah, but that was the experience of Jonestown, and it was it was a terrible experience for those of us who went there when all those bodies, 918 bodies, were strewn all around the place. It was terrible. As I said, when the night come and the breeze blew, or not only in the night, during the course of the day, when that breeze circle and the stench hit you there, oh man, it was nauseating. Now, moving on. Moving on, I alluded earlier, we had this terrible accident yesterday morning at Dennis Street and Dennis and Sheriff Street. Early morning accident. They say it occurred about about 6:15 yesterday morning. Two speeding trucks, sand trucks, collided. Let me show you the picture. Some of the picture. Get the look. This is well. Let me show you the other one first. This is one. The trucks ended up. This is the Dennis Street. Ended up damage of water main. Ended up perched in the canal. All your pictures show that the gentleman who was killed was somewhere at the back of this wheel here. And then this is one of the trucks. And then the other truck, look where the other truck ended up. The other truck ended up, this is Sheriff Street, into a building. Along the way, it damaged a whole set of other vehicles, and it went there. This is yesterday morning, one dead, several vehicles damaged, building damaged, and all of that. And you know what gets me is the response. It is a continuing carnage. It's not something that is unusual. It's almost every day. As I was coming on this morning, so I might look at this one. This is this morning on the Heroes Highway. This morning, truck turnover on the highway there. Hope no injuries, hope no anything serious. And even later, again, at the corner of Camp and Newmarket Street by Shanta there, some accident again there this morning. Numerous. And the thing is the authorities seems clueless as to what they should do. Clueless. And you know, these trucks, we have been hearing over the past months or so that these trucks are now being driven by people from Bangladesh, people from India, and foreign nationals. It was interesting to note that they have not listed, the police, as far as I know, have not made an official release about this accident that occurred over 24 hours ago. Unusual. Because they like jump up and talk, a corporate communication unit, and write a lot of crap. But they haven't done so this time around. So I'm wondering who are the owners, or who is the owner of the two trucks, or who are the owners? And more, perhaps even most importantly, or even more importantly, who were the drivers? Because the names of the drivers are not mentioned. The only name that is mentioned in the report that I have seen is the name of the deceased person, Carlton Smart. Only name mentioned. No other name is mentioned. I wonder why. I wonder why no name is mentioned as to who the drivers were at the time of this accident. Right? Ooh. Then, the next thing, then you get Bishop Edgel. You got enough bishop around, some is religious bishop, some is chessboard bishop, some is some liquor name bishop, all of that. He came out with the usual thing, Let me read part of the thing that he said. He just paying you to read what these people say, but I'm gonna read part. It said, he said, it is with profound sadness that I address the tragic accident that occurred earlier today on Sheriff Street. On behalf of the Ministry of Public Works, I extend my deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of the gentleman who tragically lost his life. Our thoughts and prayers are also with those who were injured, and we fervently hope for a swift and complete recovery. That is all you're hearing, thoughts and prayers and promises, nothing more. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything that will make any sense. Only recently they launched another campaign, what they call traffic campaign. The other one that they said Respect the Road. That one fade away. You know nothing about it. You don't know what were the results. Nothing. No analysis is put forward to say, well, during this campaign, this is what we achieved. First of all, these campaigns are launched. You don't know what is the objective, or what are the objectives of the campaign? So they come with these things, and then recently they launched the next one, do the right thing. Ben and them launched do the right thing. I was urging them that they too should do the right thing. They should do the right thing and go home. Ben should head north and keep going. Ejil, his office is close to the seawall. Keep going. Ikin, the traffic chief. And you know, with this thing, the president this year, perhaps he should go too, because the president this year, in his New Year's message, what he said. Let me read. Don't want to misquote them. Let me read as part of the president's New Year message for 2024. President Irfan Ali. What he says. And I quote here, the carnage on our roads will be greeted with a robust road safety and traffic management plan. I intend to have a national conversation on this issue within the coming days. Out of that conversation, new laws, regulations, and technology will be implemented to stop the carnage on our roads. End of quote. That was on the 1st of January 2024. Today is the 20th of November, almost a year after. What happened to this national conversation that the president talked about? What happened to all of these things he talked about? It's just talk. That's the problem. It is just talk. They come, you get an accident like this, they come talk. All sort of nonsense they come to tell people. All type of craziness they're telling people. The year's almost finished. We still are waiting this national conversation. Or maybe the president will wait very soon, 5:30 in the morning, and call all the parties to have this conversation. Because people are dying almost daily on the roads, if not deaths, serious accidents, injury. I saw something the other day, I didn't remember to pull it up this morning, where they have said, I think it was Ben or somebody said, the cost of fatal accident, a staggering astronomical cost in terms of cash, in terms of finances to the economy. The cost to families who have lost their loved ones. And we don't have a social system in Guyana to support those people. If the only breadwinner is killed in an accident, there's nothing there to support the survivors. Nothing really. And I said before and I've said again, right? It is time that this road safety madness be declared a national public health emergency. It is about time. But they're not doing anything. And then when you look at these trucks, you know, we said on this program, they should by now able to establish a Department of Transportation, DOT. Department of Transport to look at road vehicles, license in a comprehensive way. This band-aid thing where they come, they tweak the law, Ben says he's going to change the law to allow for what you call them, important people to use siren, and all sort of nonsense these people talking. They have no plan. They have no plan. They are brainless, clueless when it comes to how to address. And we have made suggestions as to how what can be done. And I say this from a background of being a traffic chief on 2 occasions in Guyana. Right? So I think I get some little knowledge as to some of the problems and some of the solutions to the problem. But they're not listening. And you know, let me tell you something. Somebody asked a question on the social media platform this morning. What qualifies a person to drive them big truck in Guyana? What qualifies them? What qualifies? And we talked about it here. You go to the licensing and certifying officer with a canter, a little canter, and that is categorized as a truck. So you have a truck on your driver's license, and then you can go and drive one of these big, massive sand truck because your license has truck on it. Right? As truck. There is no arrangement for anybody called in America called CDL, a commercial driving license, which is a more rigorous test and standard to make sure that you can drive those big things on the road. Nothing. So you have a lot of people who jump behind these wheels, sand truck with tons and tons of sand inside, and they're speeding down the road. Go now on the eastbound, go now on the east coast. You're going to see them West Demerara. Speeding in excess of 100 kilometers per hour flying down with a full load of sand. And any sensible person will tell you if you're coming to a situation, the weight of the truck alone, the braking distance will change dramatically. But nothing has been done. Look, I tell you, I had an experience a few weeks back in Guyana with one of those trucks. I was at LBI, not LBI, sorry, Triumph, by the Regional Democratic Office, Rain fell a little that morning. And I went there, I parked my vehicle. When I look to the west, a truck blazing coming through. And you can see the truck is in problems. Because the wheels are locked. The wheels are not spinning. It's locking and it's sliding, coming. Buddy, I'm not ashamed to tell you, the thing was coming towards me. And I took on Usain Bolt. So I headed for cover. But then the thing was coming straight to my vehicle. So I saw the vehicle gone. But I hustled and I saved myself. I run to a safe distance. And the vehicle, when I felt that the thing would have crashed head on into my vehicle, God was with me and the vehicle that morning. The truck stopped like about 6 inches. I'm not exaggerating. About 6 inches from the back of my vehicle. About 6 inches. The wheel locked. I got a picture I'm going to show you. Not now. I didn't process the show now. But on the next program, I'm going to try to remember to show you all it. It lock up. The wheels lock up. And at that stage, one time it stopped, I realized it stopped. I jumped in my vehicle and moved my vehicle forward to a safe distance. Then I came out. And the driver and the next guy in the vehicle came out. They're looking under the peeping. And then one said, they believe is that the steering cut or something like that. That is what they said. I went into the regional office and I came out within 2 or 3 minutes. And the truck was gone. So it wasn't nothing to do with steering. The truck was gone. That is what took place there. I had that experience a few weeks ago. The truck gone. The people are speeding. Again, the question is, who examines these vehicles to certify that they are fit to be on the road? We talk about it here too. You have a system where the police license and certifying officer certifies vehicles to be fit. They come, put on your light, put on your trafficator, put on the windscreen wiper, and that is about it. That is about it. They're not trained in mechanical engineering or anything like that to examine the vehicle in detail. Nothing like that. Nothing like that takes place. And all these trucks blazing on the road, up and down, all day, all night in Ghana. What do you expect? As I said, the authorities are clueless. They don't know what to do. Let me bring in Mr. Conway in this air for him to obviously see these trucks and vehicles in general on the roads. And they're cocking the figures, they're doing all sorts of things. What are your views, my friend?
Well, like you, I know that they're cocking the figures because first thing they're saying, it is not the other thing that happen on the road. For example, a vehicle hit a bridge and end up in a trench, person die. This is an incident. A man stand up in the road next to a minibus, another minibus come and hit him. It is an incident. A man riding a scooter fall off. It is an incident. And they think them as incident, not as fatal accident. And they introduced one recently, person get injured, spend, I think, 2 months in hospital and died. This is not as a result of an accident, as a result of poor medical treatment. So they do that kind of thing, cocking the figures, they're ghosting. And then if you cock the figures, if your data is inaccurate, your response to the situation wouldn't be a proper response. It would be flawed. And then as I heard the traffic chief on several occasions giving you some analysis in terms of accident by day and by night and the time and so. But all he's giving you is giving you figures. He ain't telling you what's the response. What is the response? What is the action you're gonna take? He telling you all what happening, but he ain't saying the action you're gonna take. What they're doing in enforcement and other things. And the accident, the fatal accident yesterday. Oh crap, up to now, they can't give you the owners of the vehicle, as you mentioned. They can't give you the drivers. Perhaps the drivers came from Bangladesh, so they don't want to give you, and they're not really addressing the situation. I hear the bishop. I know I have issues with our bishops, especially those in government or governmental position, where he's saying he ordered 200 clamps for trucks. So you're gonna clamp the trucks. And when you clamp a vehicle, the blockage remain. So they can't clamp the vehicle and they go on their way, and you gotta go and look for them. And then if you're gonna clamp vehicle, if you're gonna clamp vehicle, you have to have a SOP, because here's another case of corruption going on. They will clamp your vehicle and they're gone. and you got to go and look for them. And when you find them, and they come back to you to the vehicle, you pay a $5,000, you give them, and they gone away, say $5,000, but you give me a $5,000, if I put the quote, you got to pay so much, plus you're going to lose time and all kind of things. So the corruption is also there. And then I look at the corruption, who getting license. You mentioned about a canter gone between sticks. You ever see them 18-wheeler being sticks? And even somebody saw the fine officer who giving you a license to drive trucks, they never got banging wheels over any on a big truck. So the whole thing needs revamping. The whole traffic situation is terrible, and they're hiding the figures. They're cocking the figures. It's not an accident. It's an incident. And they're also saying, oh, it is not on a road. It's not a road. And let me give them the definition for road. I'll give it before. The definition for road is section 12 of the motor, chapter 5102 of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act. It's saying road means any highway. And here it is. And any other road to which the public has access, and include bridges over which a road passes, and any wharf, stelling, or part of the foreshore to which the public has access. So if the vehicle hit a bridge, it is not a road according to them. They are cocking the figures, and then they're not looking at enforcement. Then they're not utilizing those persons who are real enforcers. They need to meet more enforcers like Bice. And the guy who talk about Bice at breakdown, they think he's a traffic officer. And with all these traffic officers there, he finds himself in quick peak periods on the road doing enforcement during peak periods. And you can tell if you go around by any one of them bus park, and you see things in orderly, is that Bice just passed from there. So utilize the people, and only that those persons who are doing well, give them incentives. Give them incentives so they can do better. Not like what they do at West Demerara, where the most dangerous roads in this country, West Demerara. And last year when they give out awards, the traffic chief for West Demerara Region 3 got runner-up best cup. Runner-up best cup. Who presided over the most dangerous roads in this country, and he get runner-up best cup. So that's all the thing. So there's the situation there, is that they're not looking at it holistically. And we say they must look at it holistically, and there must be a strategic plan to deal with traffic. A strategic plan to deal with the traffic. Paul, you mentioned that the president said on all is there in his New Year's message to us. What action he's gonna take? For us, we're gonna hear it at 5:30 in the morning, So the whole traffic situation is a mess, and unless they really have a strategic plan, a holistic plan to deal with traffic, lives and limbs will continue to be in perpetual peril on our roads.
5:30 in the morning, they got for, Toro and people like Desmond. Y'all know I like my calypso. They got a singer out of Trinidad, Zandoli. Y'all must Google Zandoli. Zandoli sing a song about what's the name? The chorus go, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. 2 police women come check in. And before I could have put on my clothes, all the iron exposed. So 5 o'clock, check it, Zandoli, up on YouTube. So maybe they're waiting for 5 o'clock in the morning for check on these things. They're waiting for 5 o'clock. Eva Egel is reported to have said, they said only on Monday, and this is Stabrook News of today's Stabrook News. They said only Monday, Public Works Minister Juan Egel was confronted by residents at Stanleytown, West Bank, West Demerara, about the rampage of trucks through their communities, causing damage to roads and shaking up the foundations of their houses. Egel had promised that action will be taken and that 200 clamps for trucks had been acquired. Now you tell me this. The people talking about trucks going through the village, rampaging through the village, damaging foundation, shaking the buildings. He said he had the clamps. He said he had a clamp. That is what it is reported to say. He said 200 clamps for trucks had been acquired. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do with these 200 clamps or trucks? Please tell us, Bishop. Please tell us what you intend to do with these 200 clamps that were acquired, and how that is going to impact on the speeding and the killing on the road. Tell us. People are just clueless. But I implore you guys to check YouTube. Toro, go check YouTube now. Zanduli, Zondolie, or something like that. It is spelled. He has several songs there. But this is one with the two police women. 5 o'clock in the morning, two police women come check in. And before I could have put on my clothes, all the iron exposed, beautiful calypso, rare calypso out of calypso 10 in Trinidad. I love it. I love it. Now let me tell you, let me offer some more suggestions to them about this traffic thing. I did it before. Then listen, I'm gonna continue to do it. Terry Ben said the Iron Man. Yes, that's the song. Iron Man. Zanduli's the Iron Man. He's singing about Iron all the time. Iron Man, right? So yeah. So let me tell you all. Now I said one here that is about time. First of all, let me understand this. Let me understand this clearly. The traffic situation in Guyana, as it currently is that a police problem? Yeah, like look at our police, and it has gone beyond that. The thing has gone to the stage where no police enforcement alone can do it. It calls for a comprehensive strategy to deal with it. So let me repeat that. It's not a police enforcement problem. They like blame the police, everything. Oh, the police not doing it. Yeah, the police some of them might be corrupt. Yeah, some of them might not be as diligent as they ought to be. But the problem has gone past what the police can do. Gone. And let me explain to you, let me tell you that again. I said the traffic situation should be declared a national emergency. And not just declared the emergency, but having declared it an emergency, you got to then plan how you are going to address this emergency. You've got a plan. Perhaps you have to set up a task force to strategize and to implement measures. Perhaps you will need international assistance. You get the money. You get the money. Then the next thing, a comprehensive review of the road safety system. A comprehensive review. Not just billing road and billing road there and billing road there. Or you say that is not going to work. As you have seen, it is not working and it will never work by itself. It can't be no standalone arrangement. Then I got to establish a National Department of Transportation to deal with the administration of learner driver tests, certification of motor vehicle, etc. Somebody asked in the chat here about CDL, commercial driver's license. There's no such thing in Guyana. There is no such thing as commercial driver's license in Guyana. As I said, you go to test with some little canter and they put truck on your license that you're competent to drive a truck. You take that competence certificate to the inland, to the revenue people there, GRA, and you get your license to drive a truck. And then you go to work with one of these companies, some massive 18-wheel truck with tons and tons of sand. The license says you can drive truck, so they show you how you drive truck. So why are you surprised when all of these things happen? And all you hear from people like Ejil is thoughts and prayers. But you don't hear nothing from Ben. You don't hear anything from Ben. You don't hear, now and again, you hear from the traffic chief, you hear nothing from Ikin, the acting commissioner, the extended quarter. Nothing they don't say. Nothing. And then you say you get regulations, laws about, you got to get regulations and laws dealing with driving school. We don't have that in Guyana. There's no law or regulation dealing with driving school. If I want to set up something, just go on the side, advertise, I got a driving school, and I teaching people to drive. You don't have to have any approved qualification and all of that. You just set up a driving school. You was a police traffic man or you get some contact, you set up your driving school or you teach people to drive, you collect money from them. Whether you know the correct rules or not, that is not important. So you can only teach what you know. So if you know the wrong thing, that's exactly what you do. You're teaching them the wrong thing. Then we talk about the age of drivers too, got to be revisited. They talk about these electric scooters. Go around any place during the course of the day, and you're going to see scooters being driven by children. By children. So the laws that they passed recently about scooters and the requirements for a scooter with license and so on, they're not working. And as you were saying, passing laws are not going to solve the problem. That in it by itself is not going to solve the problem. Then I go on here. Let me give some more. Number 6, you got to get the insurance companies involved. The insurance companies. When I was traffic chief, I had a campaign to liaise with the insurance companies to get them involved, because there were lots of things we felt that the insurance companies could have done, especially when it relates to public transportation vehicles. We said that, for example, the age of the driver can the premium to be paid can impact. So if you're a 20-year-old, you're a 21-year-old, and the statistics will show that they present more risk. So whatever insurance you have to pay should reflect that. All of those things we talk about. And there's years and years, decades ago, I was traffic chief. We talk about it's time that the courts more aggressively deal with disqualification of drivers. The courts have the power to disqualify drivers. And I tell you all again, I explain the difference between disqualification and suspension. The courts don't suspend, they disqualify. The law gives the licensing authority, who is the Minister of Home Affairs, the power to suspend under certain circumstances. Person charged of causing death by dangerous driving, and you can suspend the license. A person goes to court, the person is convicted for certain offenses, they can be disqualified from holding or obtaining for a period of time. All of those things you have to look at. It has to be comprehensive, right? Then we're talking here about the implementation of the demerit point system. Long now they're singing about it. Long. There is no such thing. So every time you go to court, every time you start anew. So if you have 100 offenses under your belt, when you go for the 101st, it's like nothing happened. Nobody don't check no record to see what type of driving history you have. No, that don't work. We talk about to review the learner driver program. We said that before. We talk about education, enforcement, engineering, legislation. All of those things have to work hand in hand. Not what they're doing here, just they pass a little piece of legislation now and expect that can change. They're going to change nothing. Nothing is not going to change. We talk about, for example, things like trade plates. People don't obey the law. They got a law relating to trade plate. And you go on any holiday, Sunday, Saturday, anytime, nighttime, anytime, people driving around the place with trade plate. And the law prohibits that. The law specifies when those things can be used. But it's a lawless place. So nobody bothers with those things. We're talking about the campaign, should have campaigns with vehicles and posts and all of those fitted with reflective material so that it can be easily identified. You get heaps of sand on the road, building waste, and all this animal roaming the road. And all of these things have to be dealt with. Cell phone, seat belt, all of these things. Helmet. Look around. It's there. Right? It is there. That one of my pet peeves, as I tell you, people don't know to drive in lanes in Guyana. So even though the law says that when you drive, you must drive to the left or near side of the road, the left or near side, and you should only come to the other side when you're overtaking. And once you overtake, you go back to the left or near side. Go on the East Coast, and everybody sit down in the right lane instead of the left lane. And police stand up right there, and police don't rebuke them or do anything about that. So again, I say this thing has to have a comprehensive review. Comprehensive. I said before that you should have public information, infomercials, get skit, get all that thing, plastered all over the place. Every time you turn on the radio, you turn on the TV, you ought to see educational things about how to drive or not. You don't see that. So what do you expect? I have driven in several countries around the world. Some places in Trinidad and Barbados, and then you drive Trinidad, I think it is, they tell you to keep to the left. Get big signs. Keep to the left. I drive in Jamaica. At intersections, they tell you how many road deaths for the year. And click it or ticket and all those type of slogans. You have, meaning you must click on your seatbelt or you're going to get ticket. What happening in Guyana? What you see happening in Guyana? For the part of the Minister of Home Affairs, Ben, he tell the traffic ranks that they must all wear white gloves to be more visible. That is the intervention. So you see the traffic ranks on the intersection of white gloves. That is one of the innovations of Rupes and then the Minister of Home Affairs. You had a program, or you had the idea that the traffic ranks in Jonestown should stand up on ladder to direct. I ain't joking, you know. I get all of those clips all over the place. They must stand up on a ladder in the middle of the street so that they can be more visible. And I reminded them of our wicked buslit minibus men. And with them same big truck, imagine a traffic rank porch on top of a ladder and a truck bearing coming on. You go see the man abandon the ladder and run out the place and all of that. They have no idea. And they're not, the president spoke about this national conversation. There is no conversation. So 5 o'clock some morning and get up and they're going to come up with some idea. And it's not going to work because they don't plan properly and they don't have yardstick to measure how they are progressing, and they don't have any proper review. As I said before, you had the Respect the Road campaign, which seems to have come to an end. No review as to how successful it was or otherwise, none. And you're going to get this now, thing what you call do the right thing. Same thing will happen. Same thing. It will peter out at some stage, and there's no analysis, no review as to see what has happened. With the Respect the Road campaign, they spend money, millions of dollars, suspect, and put up billboards with the extended squatter picture. And I asked a question before, and I asked again, how could that have been expected to positively impact on the carnage on the road? Clueless people. Clueless people. That is what we have. But you know what, this thing is serious. And I think all of us in Guyana have a responsibility to speak out. We have a responsibility to do the correct thing, follow the law, wear we seatbelt, do not use cell phones while we're driving, and all of those things we have a responsibility to do. All categories of road users. Don't just target trucks and minibuses and all categories of road users. Even the pedestrian, you see they got a pedestrian crossing right there, and they're crossing someplace other than the pedestrian crossing, and some of them got children in it with them. So that is what the children are being taught. All of these things you've got to do. Every now and then, they're lecturing to kindergarten school students in school, lecturing to traffic. That is what they do. Clueless people, clueless people. And I have offered this advice here, and I've offered it before, and I want to pay because I ain't going to set me up and say you pay me and charge me. I'm doing it as a public service to tell you what should be done. That is what I am doing. I'm bringing Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. CC, do you have anything more to tell us on this traffic situation?
Well, you said a whole lot, and I agree with you. There got to be a comprehensive thing on dealing with traffic. I had put it that way. I say a strategic plan to deal with traffic, and I said it before, and I'm going to restate it, that it got to be data driven. You got to get the data, and you got to analyze it. Respect the road, them and analyze anything. Doing the right thing, they're not going to analyze anything. That it needs a comprehensive approach towards it. If we don't do that, we will continue to have our lives and limbs in constant pressure thing. And the thing is, you mentioned about kindergarten, talking to kindergarten children. Oh crap! Are they do they violate the road? The majority of them is their parents carrying them to school. They don't walk by themselves. They don't ride by themselves. I see they make front page, little 3-year-old, 4-year-old police lecturing to them. Target the right people, not the kindergarten children. You're wasting time. Or them gonna tell their parents, mommy must look right, must look left, and thing. Is the parents must be there to guide them. So if we target kindergarten and feel doing good, you're not doing good. Target the minibus people, target the truck driver, check the stats and see what the stats saying, and then you utilize your human and other resources to deal with the situation. That's what you got to do. But no, they're just jumping with slogans, and Ben say he gonna tweak, and the president say he gonna do this, and he do nothing, and then Ed will say he has had 200 clamps. And I was looking for the law which said that you could use clamps on vehicle. Maybe it's there, but I haven't seen it. And then when you clamp the vehicle, the obstruction will continue. And then I say, and I'm going to repeat it again, they're getting corruption with the clamp. Because when they clamp your vehicle and go away, you're going to look for them. And when you come back, the fine is, hey, give me a $5,000. So you pay $5,000, they unclamp your vehicle and they go on the way. That even you get clamps, even for sake the law permits you of clamps, you have to get a SOP to deal with it, to see how the clamps they're working. We ain't going to check the station. There's no occurrence that any vehicle was clamped. So you give them fallout opportunities to commit corruption. And as I was saying also, one of the things that they got to look at is the elephant in the room, the corruption.
The elephant in the room, the jaguar in the room, the corruption. They don't want, there's a word you can't use in parliament, so they can't pass no law related to corruption because the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, banned the word corruption from being used in parliament. They can't, you must use corruption. So I know they're going to address, you can't address corruption in parliament. Now let me move on. We have so many comments and suggestions here respecting the traffic. Because with the traffic, we are all involved. We're all involved. We're all road users. We're drivers, riders, pedestrian, motorcyclists, pedal cyclists. We use the road somehow. And therefore, we all should play an interest. And in terms of this clamp you talk about, Mr. Connery, there is no law, none, dealing with or authorizing police to clamp vehicles. None. I have perused the traffic, Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act repeatedly, and there's nothing that they even implemented in recent times to deal with that. So they have clamp, and Ejil talking about clamp. There's no law which allows or permits police to clamp a vehicle. Let me understand it clearly. None. The law speaks about the removal of a vehicle that is causing obstruction. The removal, not the clamping. And I challenging them to dispute or to refute what I have said. None, but it's a cowboy country. Cowboy country. Let me move on, man. Let me move on. Perhaps we can spend the next hour or so dealing with Mr. Brutus. Mr. Brutus is at it again. Mr. Brutus is at it again. Yesterday, the 19th day of November 2024, it is being reported that Mr. Brutus has filed another lawsuit. Let me repeat that. As of yesterday, the 19th day of November 2024, yesterday was what? Tuesday, the 19th day. Brutus filed another lawsuit. Let me read what the release says. And this is a release from the lawyers representing Calvin Brutus. HGP Nightly News. So we have been authorized, and that is what the lawyers are saying, we have been authorized and instructed by Calvin Brutus to issue the ensuing release. Calvin Brutus instituted on 19th of November 2024 civil proceedings for malfeasance in public office against several senior members of the Guyana Police Force and the Special Organized Crime Unit. Well, I make it sound like if the Special Organized Crime Unit is not part of the Guyana Police Force, but that's what I say. He instituted against several senior members of the Guyana Police Force and the Special Organized Crime Unit. He is asking the court to award him in excess of $400 million in damages. Quite simply, $400 million is not even close to enough for the scale and gravity of the alleged misconduct in public office visited upon Brutus. The public must note that in any functional democracy, the conduct alleged by Brutus in his civil claims is enough to facilitate an investigation, and those found to have acted improperly placed before the courts. Our client's lawful options on these matters remain open, even as he is pursuing the defendants in civil proceedings for misfeasance in public office, for which the corollary criminal sibling is malfeasance in public office. If and when he decides to activate his lawful options, one would hope that no further hurdles are put in his path, for they stand the risk of facing criminal and civil proceedings for overreach in public office. Surely, the local and international community can agree that the following calls for Mr. Brutus are fair and reasonable. 1, that an independent criminal investigation be launched into the subject of his civil claims against all the named defendants. 2, that a fair and impartial tribunal, perhaps a presidential commission of inquiry, populated by international experts, be established to inquire into the alleged criminal conduct. In ensuring the gauntlet contacts the ground, Mr. Brutus is prepared to do the following anytime and anywhere. 1. Subject himself to a polygraph test administered by the FBI or Scotland Yard and willingly invites the defendants in a civil claim to do so, to test the veracity of his allegations. 2. Invite Scotland Yard or the FBI via the local embassy and I commission to video record and polygraph his witnesses as to the veracity of their claims. Instructions have been given to his counsel to dispatch letters of invitation to the FBI, Scotland Yard, through the Scotland Yard and the relevant embassies. These matters require the weight of expertise that resides in these places. Cooperate with independent investigators in the pursuit of the truth in the issues of the art of the claim he makes against the defendants. Let it be known to all and sundry that Calvin Brutus has already documented his claims and cooperated with independent arbiters, including international law enforcement agencies, whose sole concern is to pursue the truth. Fear is not a word in his vocabulary. Brutus calls upon the authorities in Guyana to disburden the Commissioner of Police of the unique conundrum of the police investigating the police in Guyana and lead an independent inquiry. At this stage, the only appropriate course is to summon international, impartial, professional help. That is what the release states. That is what the release states. They talk about civil proceedings for misfeasance in public office, and it break it down. Misfeasance is, I'll make sure I write it down. Misfeasance is misfeasance is the wrongful exercise of lawful authority. So when they talk about misfeasance, they're talking about the wrongful exercise of lawful authority. And when they talk about malfeasance, they talk is a wrongdoing, especially by public officials. So you have misfeasance and you have malfeasance. So they're claiming both in this thing. And then they go on to say, interestingly, they call for an impartial presidential commission of inquiry, populated by international experts, to be established to inquire into the alleged criminal conduct. Then they talk about subject himself to polygraph. Remember only last week or this same week, I tell you, I am willing to undergo a polygraph with all the statements I have made. So you want a polygraph to be administered. He's willing to take a polygraph for either FBI, Scotland Yard, and then he inviting the defendants to do likewise. And what is interesting here, they say, let it be known. Let me read this back, and then I'm going to bring you Mr. Conway. Let it be known to all and sundry that Calvin Brutus has already documented his claims and cooperated with independent arbiters, including international law enforcement agencies, whose sole concern is to pursue the truth. Then they say fear is not a word in his vocabulary. Well, maybe he can't talk about fear. When you talk about vocabulary, you talk about something that in a person's repertoire of words. But maybe they in the yard. Who knows? Who knows? See, let me bring you for exactly this Martin, man. This thing sweet. This thing sweet, bad, as we would say. Let me hear your views on this release by the attorneys representing Mr. Brutus. I should tell you that the persons who signed are Mr. Earl Daniels, Mr. Dominic Bess, you got Euborn Alicock, UC Anderson, Renia Marcus, and Cassidy Norris. Those are the attorneys who signed this missive on behalf of Mr. Brutus. Yes, Mr. Conway. Yes, CC.
Yeah. Perhaps they are listening, they are listening to what we were saying all along the time. We say that hey, bring in Scotland Yard, bring in the Royal Canadian Mountain Police, bring in the FBI, because this thing is wide ranging. This thing is like cancer that spread all over. Not only allegations against Brutus, allegations against other from the commission, other members of the force. And then I wish to make the point that there are allegations, so they're presumed to be innocent, but investigation gotta be done. There must be an investigation. And look, Brutus gone, and then with a whole set of senior people, I wonder, what the morale of the forces like, those good, hard-working police, those honest police. I wonder what they're feeling. And then the public perception of the police, what really is happening, and the government is idle. The government ain't doing anything about it. It is time for urgent action to be taken so that the public will have confidence in the police. Because if the public doesn't have confidence in the police, they can't solve crime. I always say, if there's no public confidence, you get people with eyes who will not see, with ears who will not hear, with tongues who will not smell, with tongues who will not speak, with nose who will not smell. Yeah, and if they don't, they're not going to see, they're not going to hear, they're not going to talk. The police can't solve crime because the police not there all the time. They depend on the public to give them information. And if what's going on at the top there, and the public doesn't have confidence in the police, well, then woe be unto the police. They can't solve crime. But we're saying this thing is widespread, and this thing called for international investigation.
Go ahead. CC, go ahead. I want to answer call.
Okay, I'm saying that I'm gonna repeat myself, that the position is that what the allegations are so many, and apart the allegations against very senior members of the police force, Brutus and others allegations, and that if the government doesn't take action, the public perception of the police force will continue to be negative. And if there is no public confidence in the police force, the force will not be able to solve crime, will not be able to satisfy its mandate as set out in Section 3.2 of the Police Act, Chapter 16:01. So the situation is real serious. And unless a hands-on, a frontal approach is made towards the situation, woe be unto the police.
Woe be unto the police. Thanks folks about the song there. I muted and I forgot to unmute. So thanks, students. Now let me tell you all this. I said it. This thing that happening with Brutus is who you think created it. The government, they created the monster. They created all of this. Back in 2020, let me remind you all, they brought Brutus as senior superintendent and put him at admin. First time in the history of the police force. Such a junior, inexperienced rank, put in such a senior and important position. They brought him there 16th of August 2020. He came there. Demanded our sort of thing. Demanded transferring people left, right, and center. It is alleged that in every area where the money flowing in the police, finance office, quartermaster store, credit union, consumer co-op, construction, all that came under Brutus. It is alleged that he removed all the senior people there who were knowledgeable and may have been able to resist some of these things. They were removed. The records are there. So when they want to sue and swab, we can call names of the people who were removed. And I'm saying again that all of this could not have happened without the involvement of the commissioner, Akin. And if he was not directly involved, then he's negligent in his duty. How can you have commanders be removed, divisional branch commanders, people in senior positions like the quartermaster store, the finance office, the credit union, the construction being removed? And you want to tell me the commissioner is sitting there and the man who sits in the chair sit there and he ain't liable to? No. And then I say, so they created the monster. They created the monster. And let me tell you all who are the person, the man who holds other people. The mass whole set of people. I get the list here. Let me tell you all who those persons are. In the thing yesterday I'm talking about. Not the ones before, I'm going to remind you all about those. But the yesterday lawsuit, the defendants by the numbers are: 1, Assistant Commissioner Faisal Karimbash, or Fazil, or whatever it is pronounced. He's the head of SOKU. He's number 1 defendant. Number 2 defendant, Assistant Commissioner Ravindra Budram. He's the man in charge of admin. He replaced Budram as the man at admin. Number 3, Assistant Commissioner Errol Watts. He's at operations. He replaced Budram at operations. When they had this rotation where they come with some BS to tell people that they're rotating to gain experience as part of the strategic plan when the investigation started. Brutus was admin. They moved him to special branch. Watts was a special branch. He moved to operations. Budram was at operations. He moved to admin. So number 3 is operations, Watts. The number 4 defendant in this civil lawsuit filed yesterday is Superintendent Mahadio Singh. He is at SOKU. The number 5 defendant, Superintendent Bharat Prasad, is the finance officer. Number 6 defendant, Special Deputy Superintendent Frank RV, SOKU. Number 7, Inspector Troy Scott from SOKU. Number 8, Inspector Krishnadat Singh, SOKU. Number 9, Inspector Lingard Walcott, Quartermaster Stores. He's the quartermaster there. Number 10, Inspector Mark George. He is at SOKU. Number 11, Sergeant Narendra Baliram. He is at SOKU. And number 12, let me get a trumpet, let me get a drum roll. Number 12, Attorney General Anil Nandalal. He's number 12 defendant in this lawsuit. Your name? No, he did not name Ikin. No, he did not name Ikin in this one. But in previous one, remember, previous lawsuits, way back in 2021, he was encouraged to sue the Police Service Commission that I was chair. Remember that? He sued the Police Service Commission to say that he was being denied promotion and all that. He was joined by others. And the Chief Justice ruled on that matter on the 28th of June 2021. And what the Chief Justice said, let me remind you all what the Chief Justice said. The Chief Justice said that Senior Superintendent Calvin Brutus' letter on December 24, 2020 to various senior officers was strange, self-serving, vague, unsubstantiated, and represents a conflict of interest. Let me repeat that. Quote, Senior Superintendent Calvin Brutus' letter of December 24, 2020 to various senior officers was strange, self-serving, vague, unsubstantiated, and represents a conflict of interest. That is what the Chief Justice said. So he sued, and the Chief Justice threw out that's a promotion at the end of 2020. He was encouraged to do that. Then what happened? Not satisfied. I made statement. Then he sued me in my private capacity. Filed lawsuit. How much $1 million did he want? The matter was thrown out. And I understand he has appealed. The appeal and ordered. So the man very litigious. And then, remember in the last lawsuit, he sued, well, one in the previous lawsuit, he sued the Attorney General, he sued the Minister of Home Affairs, he sued the Police Service Commission, he sued the Commissioner of Police Acting, he sued SOKU. He blamed Cabinet for some of the problem. He blamed the PS Home Affairs Ministry. He claimed also that the Police Service Commission made him senior to all the other assistant commissioners. This man is a madman. This man is, in my view, I'm no doctor, but this man is demonstrating some very worrying tendencies, some very, very worrying tendencies. And I say again, I repeat for emphasis, that this man appears to be losing it. Stress. All these people he sued. He withdraw 2 of the lawsuit. Remember, he went to court too for permission to leave the country, he and his wife, because he claimed that his wife had to get medical attention abroad. That was denied. That was denied. He's suing and he's suing and he's suing. The man is the most. There's not a single police officer in the history of the Ghana Police Force who has filed so many lawsuits. There's not a single police officer in the Ghana Police Force who has had that many accounts, bank accounts. They said 9, he and the family. There's not a single police officer who has had, as of now, 231 criminal charges read against him. There's not a single police officer that I'm aware of has assets, cash in the bank, 500 million, and other assets totaling 800 million. God, the man is the man of the most tests. The man got the most. The man got the most. Hope he can get the most jail time. Wonder if that can happen. Wonder if that is going to happen. But I need to tell you all something more about this matter before I begin, Mr. Conway. Based on the lawsuit that was filed yesterday, they say the people that I named, Butas is suing them jointly and severally. Student, take out your notebook, policemen. The man is suing them jointly. In other words, he's suing them together. And then he's suing them individually in their own capacity. And I want to say to all the defendants, all, free advice again, y'all better make sure you retain legal counsel to represent you. Because the man's suing you collectively and he's suing y'all individually. And as he has sued you individually, I believe that you should seek to make sure you get proper legal representation. Not so long ago, the acting commissioner, the extended squatter, made a statement that he was encouraging police ranks to sue social media people who may have made false statement against rank. He said the police can pay. That is what he said some month, 2 months ago. So he said so. It's on the record where he can say that policemen and women who have been maligned, and this is I'm paraphrasing, by social media commentators should sue, and the police will assist them with the legal expenses. So maybe now that Buta sue all of these people, maybe the police, y'all make sure, let me tell y'all, people like all them who name Karim Bash, Budram and others, y'all talk to your lawyers, talk to some lawyer. By now, I'm sure you would have been served, because if you're named as a defendant, then you have to be served the same document that I have. I have it, so you must have it. Take it to your lawyer, take it to a lawyer, and make sure that you are properly represented. Don't sit back. Yes, Selby, I ain't come to that yet. I ain't come to that yet. So yes, contact your lawyer. It is in your interest. I like to give advice, I like people tell you who know me and work with me and work alongside me over the years. I like give advice. So I'm telling you, of the fact that you've been sued in your personal capacity, you should seek your own. Don't worry about the police can give you. They might provide somebody, but go and talk to your own person. And then talk to the force about legal expenses and so on. Now let me move on to tell you, right? And I ask the question, when will this end? When will all this madness end? This one man going crazy, pulling down the force. He was alleged to have said that he ain't going down alone. And all this now is indication that he ain't going down alone. He can pull. He's going to pull and bring down all who he can bring down. He's going to bring down, the vice president said, like that. He's not afraid of anything. But according to the release from his attorney, they say, and this song to me, this song a little threatening. I am interpreting this as a threat. That's my interpretation. Let it be known by all and sundry that Calvin Butas has already documented his claims and cooperated with independent arbiters, including international law enforcement agencies, whose sole concern is to pursue the truth. I see that as a threat. I don't talk to international law enforcement people. Wonder who those people are. FBI, Scotland Yard, Canadian monkeys, somebody from the, what they call the one from India. Who those international law enforcement agencies are that Butas has already, according to his lawyers, has already spoken to. Mr. Conway, come and take a little bit, coming back. This is not done as you like. Yes, sir. Let me hear you.
As we said, the thing is, it's deplorable. It is deplorable. And you mentioned Brutus said, or the allegation that he ain't going alone, that he bringing along everybody. He not going alone. He bringing along everybody. I ask the question, or you ask the question, when will this madness stop? To somebody or a group of people on bodies put a stop to this madness. It is not doing well for the Guyana police force. And more so, it is at the top. You're dealing with the top, not at the bottom, with the top. And if the top crumble, the whole force will crumble. Time for this madness to come to an end.
Time for the madness to come to an end. Time, and I got some names, you know. Time for the president. Time for the prime minister, the minister of home affairs, national security advisor, and all of these people. Time for all of them to stop being silent and to address this matter now. Time for them to become serious, because this matter, I am saying, my view, it is becoming more and more a serious threat to national security. You have the old police hierarchy in disarray. Disarray. And this is not, don't remember this Brutus incident might be the most serious, but it's not the only one. Let me remind you all, you know, you have the man who occupies the commissioner chair lying to the public about this investigation. Remember what he said when he was asked at the sideline about this investigation? And the man said, let me find it here, man. The man made it clear. Look. Listen again, listen.
Guyana's acting commissioner of police, Clifton Hicken, today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting, Calvin Brutus, is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Jonestown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million-dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There was no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever. We know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who served as the force admin officer, was transferred to Special Branch, while Deputy Commissioner Provincial Dat Budram is now in charge of administration, while the head of the Special Branch, Assistant Commissioner Errol Watts, is now in charge of operations. In a statement from the police, it said that the move is part of the modernization plan for the Guyana Police Force.
That is what they said. It was the movements were part of a modernization plan for the Guyana Police Force. The man lied about this investigation. No investigation, no money laundered. And this man is the man who sits there in the commissioner's crisis. Let me tell you all further. The man admitted in a statement, that is Hicken, that he accepted $8.5 million from a businessman, which he used to finance the wedding last November of Brutus. And I asked the question, isn't that misconduct in public office? And perhaps even more, because the statement that he wrote was intended to clear Brutus when the bank reported to the Financial Intelligence Unit that he deposited $46.4 million, which he claimed was money accumulated from wedding gifts, incentives, and other bonuses during Christmas, $46.4 million. The statement by Hicken was intended to clear that, to say, well, yes, that is so. And I say that if a proper investigation is done, as is called for now by Brutus, they're going to find that he was perverting the course of justice. Because the statement, I believe, when you look at it, is a lie, attempt to cover up. The statement is a lie, this 8.5 statement. And don't forget, major drug bust, 4 tons of cocaine, and the acting commissioner is kept in the dark by the people who conducted this operation. The US DEA, they involve the CANU, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, the GDF Special Forces, and not a single police, including the man who sits there in charge of the police force. Right? None. Now, there you have, let me tell you, Almo, Sergeant recently reportedly detained in Miami, police sergeant, detective sergeant, from Region 1. That's the same region in which is cocaine. And if you say he has direct involvement in the 4.4 tons of cocaine, he was questioned at length. His phone was seized. He was put on the next flight and sent back to Guyana. Sergeant. Before that, you have a superintendent of police in charge of the major crimes unit, Michel Caesar. It is reported that he was detained in Miami. His phone seized. He was questioned at length and he was sent back to Guyana. Or he was allowed to travel to Guyana eventually. And the vice president, Barra Jagdeo, at a press conference, when he asked about that, he said, well, that is a matter for the police commissioner to deal with. Imagine that, a senior police officer detained by the U.S. authorities. Detained by the U.S. authorities. And the response is, oh, the police got to deal with that. The government was not concerned about that. At least that is what the vice president conveyed. Then you have, you have this exchange of letters. Don't forget, recently we saw on social media, Parshram writing Blanham, the crime chief, and Blanham writing Parshram. Then they moved Parshram from East Coast to Parky up at the Strategic Planning Unit. We had another set of letter writing between Blanham and Ramana when he was at 4B, and then he moved now. All of these are indications that all is not well. You had a story with SWAT. SWAT guns surround the whole living quarters of Brutus. And Brutus' neighbors, I understand, are other senior police officers. They surround his officers. Right? Then you get allegations by Brutus against Karim Bash, Budram, Watts, and others. I say it again. I keep saying it. That Brutus is displaying some worrying and erratic behavior, which should be cause for concern. Worrying and erratic behavior. And I said before, it's up to you all. If you all want a man who displaying this type of behavior living next to you and maybe carrying firearms, it's up to you all. I remember it was 1989. I remember that year well because we were, at that time, I was leading a team to go to the United Nations. And there was a report, I was looking for it, I can't find it, where a policeman walked into some office in one of the islands and shot and killed several of his colleagues. I can't remember the whole story. But this is something that happened around 1989, some Caribbean island. Yeah, sit back and wait. Sit back and wait. Sit back and wait. Right? I can only advise and talk. I got a crystal ball. People are telling me crystal ball, and I see things, and I can anticipate things. And I'm saying it is dangerous, given what is being displayed by this officer, the behavior that is being displayed. The man sued everybody. Of course, he had a letter he wrote to me too, not so long ago. His lawyer, or Daniels, wrote to me, said I defaming him, bringing him to disrepute, and they threatened I should have responded to the letter within 1 day, or they're going to force to take legal action against me. I didn't see the legal action yet, so I guess it's coming down the pipe. That is the type of behavior you have. That is type. It is evident to me that this man decided he can burn everything down. Not literally. So you all don't want to say that I say the man saying he can burn it. He can bring down everything. It's a figure of speech. Right? A figure of speech. This is the type of behavior. And what is the president doing? What is the Home Affairs Minister doing to have all of this going on? And as Mr. Conway said a while ago, you can imagine what is happening to the other ranks in the force. Every day you pick up the paper, is something untoward. Every day it must be devastating to the morale of those ranks. And my heart bleeds to them because deep down inside, people that say you're police. Once you're police, you're always a police. And the fact that we held senior ranks, you always have that affinity to people who are there. I am sorry for them. I am sorry for them. Sorry for them. Somebody tell me the other a similar story in Grenada. I think it's the same story, Claudine, that I might be talking about. I remember the thing when I was looking to get the details and I can't find it. Right? I walk in there and close off some of your colleagues and so on. And that's what you all allowing. Because yesterday, Monday, when Brutus was going to court for the second time, in his suit, when he was going, he was accompanied by a police sergeant from the TSU. He was accompanied by a police sergeant, and we said, well, maybe the police sergeant providing protective services for him. So if he can be provided with protective service, what happened to those persons who seems to be in peril? Budram and Karimbash and all of those people. These people, look, and let me tell you all this. As senior officers, you can't wait for nobody to provide you with security, you know. You have got to know what to do to make sure you provide yourself with your own security for yourself and your family. For yourself and your family. You got to do like what the referee tell the boxer, protect yourselves at all times. I'm not saying that I know something can happen, but I'm saying that given the behavior, you have got to anticipate the worst. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But you have got to be extremely careful. All of those persons who are named and others. Let me understand this thing clearly. This is not no pussyfooting any longer. No pussyfooting. Now let me move on. You know, they got so many things. You know, let me tell you, let me go right back to the meat of this thing here. Get a little time. To support what I've just said. Butas is saying in his thing, he talk about his loss. Particulars of his loss. That is what is in the document. It's called particulars of loss and special damage. Number one, he's claiming loss of access to bank accounts held by the claimant, that is he, in his personal and his company's name, Kitus General Contracting and Holdings, Inc., estimated at $80 million. So he's saying he's losing money. $80 million. Two, loss of ability to pay doctoral tuition fees to the National American University, estimated at $3 million. The man saying that he was to be taken, like he going for a doctorate, and he's saying his loss of his ability to pay his doctoral tuition fees to the National American University, estimated at $3 million. He's saying too, loss of office by dispatch on administrative, I ain't too sure, I think that's the word. Loss of office by dispatch on administrative leave, 22nd of August, 2024. Value to be determined. He's saying loss of reputation, self-esteem, self-worth, value to be determined. Post-traumatic stress, anxiety, loss of sleep, emotional distress, and anxiety, value to be determined. Let me read that back, what Brutus is saying. And you want to tell me this is not sufficient grounds to make sure that this man is relieved from whatever firearm he get and put at a safe distance? Here what he's saying. Here what he's saying. He's saying that he is suffering from post-traumatic stress, anxiety, loss of sleep, emotional distress, and anxiety, and the value to be determined. Is Brutus saying that, you know? He says he's suffering from these things. Brutus is saying that he's suffering from these things through his attorneys in the filing yesterday. And y'all treating this man lightly? Then he goes on to say loss of income and earnings in private capacity and through loss of business reputation and credibility with the stain of money laundering in both personal and as the sole director and shareholder of Kitus General Contracting and Holding Inc., estimated at $25 million per month and continuing. Again, let me read this here, man. The man is saying that all that is going on here now, he's losing $25 million per month. And it is continuing. So July, August, September, October, that's 4 months. So he claiming the business has lost about $100 million and the thing is continuing. Right? He said the claimant will contend that there is no defense to the case at bar. In the circumstances, the claimant prays that the orders sought in this statement of claim be granted by the Honorable Court. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to make some comments, and then I'm going to read some more about this thing. See, look, let me go back to this one again. This one, what he says, that he talk about number 5 here, post-traumatic stress, anxiety, loss of sleep, emotional distress, and anxiety to be valued. This man is saying that he's suffering seriously, and they get the man, they're plainly easy with this guy. What are your views?
And only that he put it in writing in a court document. But you see, the police force is hemorrhaging. I hope there won't be no miscarriage And go back to the issue that you mentioned. Sometimes history repeats itself. The man in Grenada who did the shooting, including fatality, was an assistant commissioner of police, was an AC, assistant commissioner of police who did the shooting. So we got to be careful. History doesn't repeat itself. And Paul, you did a lot of protective security. You giving advice. You protected the president of this country. You know about protective security. I hope they listen to you. And I hope something is done. Even if it calls for a 5:30 meeting in the morning to bring this madness under control, let there be a 5:30 meeting if that is what would solve the problem.
Yeah, because this is what he is saying. He's saying that he's suffering from all of these things. Stress, post-traumatic stress syndrome and all of that. And then, somebody put, I am on. It is 5 o'clock in the morning when 2 policewomen come searching. And before I could have put on my clothes, all the iron exposed. Zanduli in the house, Zanduli. And then tomorrow, we're going to get the next one. Woman Bacchanal by the Mighty Duke. Right? Remember it? I'm going to give you all a piece of it just now. Woman Bacchanal. Y'all, you should claim for cause me for true. It's me, you need who you're talking to. When you were sick in the hospital, and then you may dress me nighty and all. What you know about same the Maku may say? You didn't say him last week, Saturday. When your husband came home all year instead, you ought to hide the man underneath the bed. Big news out, diplomatic news out. But let me go on a little more and tell you something more about this lawsuit that is filed. The lawsuit claims. Let me get it here. I'm gonna unpack. We gotta come back. He's saying that they put it by number. He said the first, that is Karimbash. The fourth, Mahadio Singh. The sixth, Frank Harvey. The seventh, Inspector Troy Scott. And the eighth, Inspector Krishna Singh. The 10th, Inspector Mark George. And the 11th, Inspector Sergeant Navinja Lal. He said they all stationed the Special Organized Crime Unit and all the public office, the old Assistant Commissioner of Police, blah, 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 blah. Then he's saying that the third, that is, the second rather, Budram, the third, Watts, the fifth, Bharat Prasad, who is a finance officer, and they said they are stationed police headquarters and they function, they tell you what the function is. So it's Budram, Watts, and Bharat Prasad, the finance officer. Then he said the ninth day, this is Walcott, is the quartermaster. He said at all material times, the defendants were public officers conducting public duties and exercising the power and discharge of the function of the public offices they held under diverse acts of Parliament of Guyana and Anti-Money Laundering and Counterterrorism Financial Act and the Guyana's Police, the Police Act and that common law. They go on to say now, he said, here we claiming about the Attorney General. This is number 12. Now, he says the 12th named defendant, there's the Attorney General, is named in these proceedings because he failed to put systems in place to detect, deter, and sanction such conduct within the ranks of the public officers in Guyana. He, at all material times, bears a duty of care to members of the general public, including but not limited to the claimant in the subject matter, to ensure that public officers do not conduct themselves in a manner that amounts to misfeasance in public office. He bears a duty at all times to implement systems to prevent conduct of this nature. That they occurred during the period July 2024 to August 2024 is enough evidence of the failure of duty and care owed by the 12th named defendant that is owned by the Attorney General. At all material time, the Attorney General or the 12th named defendant is the assured and constitutional representative of the defendants on the 11 so far, of the defendants 1 to 11, insofar as they were performing duties during the period 1st of July 2024 to October 2024 and performing them perversely, unlawfully, illegally, or contrary to the rights and interests of the claimants. They go on to say the top named defendant is the Attorney General, by allowing them to remain in office despite awareness of their conduct, is recklessly indifferent to their behavior and has by extension sanctioned their conduct. At all material times, its failure to at least investigate and interdict is indifferent to the harm done to Brutus and imperils other unsuspecting Guyanese to similar conduct by the defendants. The defendants are sued in their personal capacity as well as their capacity of public offices they hold, respectively, during the period 1st of July 2024 to 24th of October 2024. That's the day when he got the code. Then he goes on to say, on 11th day of July 2024, the claimant, this Brutus, proceeded on leave. At the time, there were diverse social media allegations of financial crimes and corruption against him and the Guyana police force. On or about the 18th day of July 2024, the Honorable Barra Jagdeo, MP, Vice President, announced at his weekly press conference that the government has ordered the Special Organized Crime Unit to investigate the allegations against the claimant, that's against Brutus. On or about the 22nd day of August 2024, the Police Service Commission issued a memorandum sending the claimant on administrative leave to facilitate investigations. On or around July the 1st, 2024, October, the fourth named defendant, that is Superintendent Mahadio Singh. The seventh named defendant, that is Inspector Troy Scott, unsuccessfully used coercion against Kevin George, Police Sergeant 21330, to give a statement implicating the claimant, or the said Sergeant George would be charged criminally and jailed. George is the driver. They bullied and cajoled him until he fainted in protest to give him a statement implicating the claimant. In or around July the 1st, 2024 to 24th of October 2024, the seventh named defendant, that is Inspector Scott, unsuccessfully used coercion to force Kevin George, Police Sergeant, to change his statement he gave to investigators on the 24th day of July 2024. This statement exonerated Brutus of criminal liability completely. The proposed change by the defendant were designed to implicate him criminally. Acts of coercion on both the 24th of July and the 26th of July 2024 include but are not limited to bullying, cajoling, threatening violence, and denial of rights to counsel. In or around the July 1st, 2024, October to 24, the seventh named defendant, that is Scott again, and the eighth named defendant, that is Krishnanath Singh, unsuccessfully used coercion to have Kevin George, Police Sergeant, criminally change his original statement and give them another statement to implicate the claimant in financial and other crimes. The unsuccessful acts of coercion include, but are not restricted to, intimidation, witness tampering, and denial of constitutional rights. The proposed charges were designed to attach liability. The proposed changes were designed to attach liability where the original statement did not. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. This is a serious thing. This is a serious allegation. They're calling for independent investigation and all of that. And I believe, we have been saying this all along. But when we get independent investigation, it should not be limited to this financial impropriety or irregularities allegedly committed by Brutus. We talk about the Sugate. We talk about allegation that the vice president in the Sugate thing that that was the allegation that it takes $500,000 US from Chinese businessmen to give them contract and so on. All of those things are lingering, and all of those things require investigation. Let me play it again. Here it is.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours. Relationship, first time you hear the word relationship. My relationship. Yeah, he's a friend of ours. All of those things should be investigated. Let me understand it clearly. So therefore, I support this call by Brutus and his lawyers to have an independent investigation, proper. If you talk about, as I say, Presidential Commission of Inquiry, according to the statement, to be populated by international experts, credible people. Don't bring Rasi again to tell us that they can make a conclusion about the paper shot killing without even speaking to the person who was making the allegation. Bascom made allegations about $30 million being paid by a businessman to Caesar, and they say that they brought somebody from the RSS, the Regional Security System, to oversee or to look at the investigation report. They claim that the person come, we never saw the person. They claim that the person gave a report, and the person in the report claimed that the police were capable of conducting a proper investigation. The report has never been released. That is all what they said. That is all what they claim in this report. But then the man, when we look at it, this man who says some retired chief inspector from somewhere, he came to Guyana, they say, to look into this matter, an allegation made by Bascom. He never spoke to Bascom. So how can you come to some credible conclusion without speaking to the man who is making or the man who made the allegation? How can you? There's no credibility in that. So all of these things need to be investigated. And there's much more to talk about the same thing with the extended squatter there. A man who sits there in the office of Commissioner of Police and admits in writing that he took $8.5 million from a businessman, which he paid towards the wedding of Brutus. And he remains there. So the misconduct in public office does not apply to him, does not apply, and they get all kind of things going on, all kind of allegation. We talk about the allegations about what going on at the police credit union, the police finance office, the police consumers, the police quartermaster stores, the police construction section, all enough funds, the special constabulary fund that is being, well, I don't know how to describe that. I don't really know to this, but these things require a thorough investigation that SOCU is not equipped and is not competent to do. Brutus now making allegation against so many people at SOCU, so who's going to investigate that? They will investigate themselves? Let me understand. And I wrote a draft letter to the Vice President last week, advising him because he said that they are going to lobby the incoming U.S. administration, Donald Trump administration, to debunk all the lies that were told about told by the opposition and social media influencers over the years about the government being corrupt, about the government being discriminatory, and all of that. So I said to them in a letter, and I suggest that he asks, like Brutus is doing now, them to send the FBI to conduct an impartial, well, you shouldn't say impartial, to conduct an investigation, because once the FBI is involved, the investigation will be professional and impartial. Go to Scotland Yard. Go to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Those are credible agencies with the necessary skills and resources to do a proper investigation. Do that. If you're going to get a commission of inquiry, let's get international people involved. The terms of reference must not be determined by the president and them sit down the guilty sharing them. The terms of reference should be perhaps determined by opposition elements of involvement, civil society, and all of those people should be involved. Because I say that with allegations like these floating around the place, the reputation of Guyana, not only Brutus and Ikin and all those persons who are named in this lawsuit, but the reputation of the whole country is at stake. All of us are going to be painted with this brush of corruption, incompetence. All of us. And therefore, it requires a comprehensive investigation. But let me tell you this. Looking at the crystal ball, I don't see that happening. I would hope to be wrong. I don't see this comprehensive. They're going to come with another little Salawala story. Oh, Soku is competent. Look, Soku give Brutus 231 charges. What happened to the others? Because I've seen the German reporting that somebody has to be charged today. We're going to deal with that another time. Somebody, and then there's a, let me show you all this. There is a picture of, let me show, this is it there. This is this morning, folks. Look at it carefully. Share the live. This is this morning. You see at the bottom, the NCN. Somebody from NCN reported that Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus, along with his driver, Sergeant Kevin George, were calling to Soku yesterday morning for questioning in relation to serious financial crimes. Brutus is currently facing 231 charges. This was posted this morning. And the fact that they say yesterday means that he might have been calling on Tuesday. Because if you look to say that he is currently facing 231 charges, it means this would have been after Monday. Because it was Monday, the additional charges were brought. 200 and how many charges were brought against him. So the fact that this story is saying that Brutus is currently facing 231 charges suggests that this happened between Monday and this morning. But they're saying here that this is yesterday. They ain't got no date, but they're saying yesterday, which leads me to believe that he had to go there yesterday, Tuesday, the 19th day. That is the same day when he filed this other lawsuit. The same day that he filed the other lawsuit, he had to go there again. Let me bring in Mr. Connery. CC, it has been reported by NCN that Mr. Brutus and George, his driver, had to go to Soku yesterday. See that? You see the picture there? They have been accompanied by one of the lions, this look like, to Soku yesterday. So like more charges than the pipeline. What are your views, my brother?
Yeah, I don't doubt, and the more we talk about things, the more financial irregularities, corruption surfacing. That's why it calls for a good, comprehensive report, and not by these local people, not by Ross and them kind of people. That you need to have credible people to do work overseas, to do a comprehensive, because it's share financial irregularity one after the other. We talked about the one the other day where they take the police money and they build a three-lane swimming pool at the police college that only 3 people could use it at the same time. It ain't get no warm-up facilities, no nothing. And then the government said they're paying for it, and they owe people millions and millions of dollars, and then they're not taking any action. The second vice president, when he talking about Hickin and the how much $1 million he collected for brutal wedding, said it was reprehensible. Yes, it was reprehensible, but he didn't do nothing but it, so he also is reprehensible. The more you talk about the thing, the more things surfacing. Therefore, there is need for a thorough, a proper investigation to be done. The quartermaster, if you're going to the quartermaster, it's shattering. The quartermaster not get boots. That them Amerindian police who is doing training in the college in Barbies. They got to pay for the boots. They got to buy space $7,000 for their boots. And paying to a corporal who fronting for a senior officer. All them things they need to investigation. They all I don't know what to say, but there is need for a in-depth financial audit to be done in the Ghana police force. As I said, this is emerging, and we hope there won't be no miscarriage.
The students asked a very interesting question here that I've been trying to find out. Who bailed Brutus? Because you're talking about 6.2 in the first instance, 10.5 this time around. Who bailed him? Who bailed Brutus? That is an inquiry mind wants to know. I want to know too. And I'm going to keep pressing to find out so I can tell you students who is the person record as having bailed Brutus. And when you talk about all these things, I'm reminded about a statement made by Gail Teixeira, what she said, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, in response to a letter from the opposition leader, or the leader of the opposition, Mr. Norton, she said, I am to inform you that in the circumstances having considered your contentions and upon weighing same against the accomplishments of the Guyana Police Force under the superintendence of Mr. Ikin, including the significant decrease in serious crimes, improved public confidence in the force, the overall enhanced performance of the police force, and in particular, the performance of Mr. Ikin, His Excellency has concluded that it is in the public interest and in the interest of national security that Mr. Ikin be appointed as Commissioner of Police. This is a letter she sent to Mr. Aubrey Norton, leader of the opposition, dated 2nd of October, 2024. And I said that maybe the Sergeant General missed one when he warned about the danger of tobacco smoking or cigarette smoking, nicotine. He missed one. It makes you delusional as well. This seems to be evidence of it making you delusional. This is the type of BS you get from these people. This is the type of BS you get from these people. But folks, we have more that I should have told you about this Brutus matter. And I suspect that before we reach again, more things are going to happen. We're going to come to you and we're going to bring you more. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his closing remarks, and then I'm going to do a wrap and tell you what happens next. CC, your closing remarks, please.
Okay, just the accomplishments that Gail Teixeira wrote, and some of the accomplishments, I could repeat some of them. Flavor the dance, duck curry competition, cook up competition, cleaning up the street, steaming fry fish to show that you eating healthy. And I don't want to call it a whole long list of accomplishment. No promotion for the corporals and sergeants since he turned commissioner and this kind of thing there. Low morale of the Guyana Police Force. Disunity, serious disunity among the senior officers. There is no synergy. Those are the accomplishments you're talking about.
Yeah, those serious disunity. The force has never been this fragmented. Let me understand. We have always had issues, personality clashes and all that. It has never been this fragmented. Not only personality issues you have now, but you have criminal issues, criminal allegations against senior people. And the government sits there, Home Affairs Minister Robeson, the president who is ultimately responsible. You have a national security advisor. Nothing they're not saying. They're quiet. They're not saying nothing. They sit there and allow the disintegration to continue. They are allowing this disintegration to continue. Folks, well, we had 2 hours of it this morning. I hope you enjoy the session. Again, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I encourage you to make a donation to keep us going. And this man, Baled, you there in the mountains, let me put it up. You there in the hills in Linden, enjoying cool breeze, and you want class on Friday. You want class on Friday. You sit down in the place. You subscribe to this thing yet? Let me ask you, put you on the spot. You subscribe, Baled? Here, let me tell you all this. We had so many other things to talk about this morning. We get the damages awarded to the Quindon Bacchus murder case. We get the David Patterson case. I told you all on Monday that I have to relate to you an unpleasant experience I had on Sunday. Our time run out. So, Baled, here what happen, Baled? Because you are asking, because you are demanding, you will come again on Friday. We have agreed that we're going to come on Friday. Friday is a special day. So we want to see full school. I know what's special about Friday? Friday will be the 3rd anniversary of Speaking Out. Let me tell you all up front. Friday will be the 3rd anniversary of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. The first program was aired on the 22nd of November, 2021. And so 22nd of November, 2024, which is Friday, we are going to have a special anniversary program. And so therefore, spread the word. Spread the word. What Wallet said there? Yeah, spread the word. So yeah, folks, again, you know, as we close today, I urge you all to be safe. We urge you all to be safe. Man, up on the road yesterday, truck killing. Every day is something else. Every day, you have to be safe. You have to look out for yourself, look out for your friends, look out for your neighbors, look out for everyone. You have to be your brother's keepers. So, folks, as I've said, thank you for your attention this morning. The turnout was wonderful, as usual. I expect to see all of you again here on Friday for this special edition. And tell others who might not have been able to make it today that we are on Friday. We're going to continue with some of these very issues that we weren't able to deal with today. And we are going to tell you something about the anniversary. We're going to look back at some of the issues over the years and all that has happened. So until then, I ask you to stay well and be good. Until God spare life, we meet again on Friday at 11. Until then, bye, stay well,